In the origins debate, that's how it works. And, or to think of it even simpler than that, the question you want to ask is, which history fits best? Which history, the millions of years, no God, Big Bang history, or the biblical history, is the best explanation for what scientists are discovering today? Which history fits best? And some of you might know I do a TV show, a weekly half-hour TV show with one of our other guys in Canada called Creation Magazine Live. It's on the Miracle Channel. And we have a lot of fun doing that show. It's a lot of work, but a lot of fun too. And I'm just in the process of finishing up on another little teaching video series. We've got quite a few teaching videos on our website based on this question: which history fits best? And it's going to be kind of a cartoon thing with a game show. You know those corny game shows from the 80s? And kind of visualize something like that with a guy with big hair and that kind of thing. And kind of like, welcome to another exciting episode of Which History Fits Best? And you'd have two contestants there, creationist and evolutionist. The evolutionists would always lose and get angry and that kind of thing. But each show is going to feature a scientific discovery. And then the contestants are asked, which history fits best? And we can play that game here tonight a little bit. And we can look at some scientific observations and ask which history fits best. Here's the island of Madeira. Interesting scientific discovery here on this island. About 600 kilometers off the coast of Africa there. There's some beetles on this island. Beetles fly around. It's windy a lot of the time on that island. The beetles get blown off into the ocean and they die. They drown. There was a genetic mutation in some of the beetles a long time ago, even before the time of Charles Darwin, that caused the beetles, so you all know what mutations are, genetic mutation. The genetic code is the instruction code for how to build and operate a living thing. It's the software that runs the hardware, if you want to think of it that way. So that there was an error in the software of these beetles that caused them to lose the ability to produce their wings. So the mutant beetles, the wingless beetles, then became the dominant population of beetle on the island. Pretty interesting scientific observation, isn't it? Mutation causes loss of wings and population change. Which history fits best? Now, evolutionists, since the time of Darwin, have said, our history fits best. This is an example of evolution happening before our eyes. The beetles have become adapted to this windy climate on the island. It's an example of natural selection. You Christians, how silly you are. Can't you see the evidence for evolution? It's happening right there on Madeira. Are they right? Yeah. If I was an evolutionist, I'd be embarrassed to use that as an example of evolution. Here's kind of a big picture view of one of the main differences between those two histories. The evolutionary history says we've gone from a single cell onward upward to palm trees, pomegranates, and people, that kind of thing. The biblical history says everything started very good and is running downhill. We live in a sin-cursed world. What's happening to the beetles on Madeira? They're going downhill. They used to have the ability to fly, now they can't fly anymore. Which history fits best? Biblical history. It used to be very good. Now it's not very good. Did it provide a survival advantage? Yes, of course. Creationists wrote on natural selection, adaptation, even speciation, long before Darwin. We invented it first. But which history fits best? Let's talk about something else. We're talking about mutations. There's mutations in humans. Let's get a little more personal here. Mutations in humans. Every new generation of people starts life off, and we all started life as a single cell inside mom, right? Fertilized egg. We start life off with more mutations, more copying errors in our DNA than our parents had. And the rate of errors creeping in is astronomically high. It's somewhere around 100 mutations per person per generation. What would that look like? Imagine that's Adam and Eve, or your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents, same thing. And all the people in the next generation, all of their offspring, would start life off with, on average, about 100 new mutations that the parents didn't have. In the next generation, 200. In the next generation, just do the math, it just goes onward, upward from there. Which history fits best? This is something that the leading human population geneticists have discovered within the last 10 years. This is cutting-edge science from the field of genetics. The world's leading human population geneticists are alarmed. Because the history that fits best is the history that says that humans could not have been evolving for millions of years. We'd already be extinct. Our instruction code, the DNA, is being blown away far too quickly for humans to be around for millions of years. Scientists have put all this into a graph like this. Here, we can just run through this. These red pluses here are fitness, forming this sloping line. Fitness is basically a measure of our ability to live and survive and carry on to the next generation. You have 100% fitness up here, 0% down here. When you get to 0, you have extinction. And theoretically, it would never go smoothly to 0. You get close to 0, and then humans would be so sickly, you just have catastrophic collapse. It would just tail off to 0. Along the bottom here, we have number of generations up to 200. There's been about 200 generations from Adam to us. So this sort of represents where we're at as a human species, if you want to think of it that way. It doesn't look very good, does it? The challenge for folks who believe humans have been around for, you go back about 1 million years to an ape-like ancestor, 1 million years or so, and then what was before that? Like some kind of lemur type thing, and then going back millions of years to a single cell. The challenge for evolution is get this software, change these variables, and there's a lot more in the background. In fact, if you're studying genetics at university or something like that, or you're into this stuff, you can download the software for free at mendelsaccountant.info. Gregor Mendel, the father of heredity, mendelsaccountant.info. And you can play with these variables yourself. The challenge is try to get fitness to remain at 100% for millions and millions and millions and millions of years. It cannot be done. Which history fits best? Again, it's the history that says that humans have not been evolving for millions of years. It is a scientific impossibility that we've been evolving that long. That's what scientists are telling us. That's the data from the leading human population geneticists today. And you know what? The Bible's a very old book, right? It hasn't been added to in 2,000 years. And in fact, it can't be added to anymore. There's warnings against that. Now, and portions of it written even thousands of years ago, not just hundreds, but thousands. And one of those portions is, you know how people lived so long before the flood, and then after the flood, Noah's descendants, the ages dropped off quite dramatically there. You see the data is the yellow dots. And then it's kind of averaged together with that red sloping line. It's an exponential decay. Just like that exponential decay. I saw that and I thought, man, I love being a Christian. For years, people have been scratching their heads thinking, I wonder what caused that. Why did they have that dropping off of the ages? Along comes genetics today, and we look at that today and say, you know what? That's caused by mutations. Mutations affect aging. It's kind of exciting, isn't it? This has been recorded in Scripture for a long time. And today, scientists have a pretty good handle on why you bottleneck the whole world's population to 8 people and essentially reboot the population. And then the effect of mutations does this. Quite fascinating. I mean, great stuff. Here's another one, just quickly. This is one of Jupiter's moons, Io. Very interesting moon. There's Jupiter in the background there. It's about twice the size of our moon. In the late 80s, a spacecraft flew around Io, mapped the entire surface of Io for the first time. And when the data came back, astronomers were astonished because they saw 80 active volcanoes on Io. Why were they astonished? They were astonished because Io is supposed to be about the same age as everything else in our solar system, about 4.6 billion years. But if Io really is 4.6 billion years old, it should be old, cold, and dead. Old, cold, and dead. But it's not old, cold, and dead. It's very active, geologically. It's hot, extremely active. Which history fits best? It's the history that says that Io is not 4.6 billion years old. I love being a Christian. It makes so much sense. And there's this creation evolution thing and a lot of other voices out there trying to get us to go in different directions. And this applies to everybody on the planet. There's all kinds of things. The Bible kind of talks about this. It talks about a straight and narrow path that leads to truth and life. And it talks about a broad road that unfortunately the majority of people are on that doesn't lead to truth and life. And where this battle kind of shows up is in surveys that have been done of the percentage of Christian children leaving the church today. Some of the numbers are staggering.